Luca, it's been some months ago. In October, you went to Mexico. And how did that work? Did you do any research before you went there, or did you arrive and just had the plan of discovering the city and finding your protagonists?
I was just wondering if you also want to come here. No? Okay. No. No, we didn't do any research because we thought it's a bit difficult to research before coming to such a big city. And then we just talked to people on the street, and then we found a documentary filmmaker who presented us to some interesting people, some insider somehow, and then he presented us to a anthropologist, and he then presented us to Picos, and then Picos presented us to Peter Punk, and then this is how everything started somehow.
It's called Schneeball-Prinzip, I guess.
Snowball principle.
Yeah. Maybe we talk about like the time frame. So you went there. It's not like for a month, but only for weeks you're there. So you were in a rush somehow. And how did you cope with that?
I really liked it. It was 4 weeks. So in the first day we met this documentary filmmaker already, and then we had 2 weeks of research and then 2 weeks of shooting. But I really liked this really short time frame, because then we really had to get on with it. And I think I prefer this kind of filmmaking than to the other one, like the long research. And somehow it was nice to just do something, and then the expectations were not so high or not too high. No, yeah. So it was quite a bit more relaxed, I think. But yeah, it was super stressful at the same time too.
Yeah. Okay, I would like to open it to the audience. Are there any questions? Du bekommst ein Mikro.
Un momento.
How was it for you to try to get trust of these people, and also the sensitive content you have, also you show a person with a mask to still respect boundaries of these people? How did you approach this, and how did you gain trust?
Trust, like this punk circle worked a bit like a gang. Like there was one gang head, and we had to somehow get friends with him, and then we could be with the others. But Picos had trust to us from the beginning on, because we came from this anthropologist, and he was a friend of Picos, so he trusted us, but all his friends didn't. So we had to then go to the main guy and spend time with him, have breakfast, and go around. And Peter Punk is wearing the mask because he's a professional wrestler. So he was showing us the face, but not while shooting, because it's like his wrestling character is Peter Punk, and he didn't want it to give us his real name neither, because once you have this wrestler identity, the biggest mistake you can do is show your real face, because this is like sometimes you fight against, and then you can lose your mask, and this is like it's like a big fail if people see your face, or like the face behind this alter ego. So this was just for this, that he was wearing the mask. Yeah, and also the children were a bit distracted, I think, that he was suddenly wearing a mask while teaching football. Yeah. More questions?
Okay, thank you very much. I just have a question regarding the time frame. So on the first day, you met the anthropologist, who is a friend of Pico's. And then it took 2 weeks of research. How long was the time frame until you got in contact with the people and then decided you wanted to look at this very specific aspect, like the Holy Kings, as I understood? Because you said 2 weeks of research, but how, if you could further break down those 2 weeks, I would be very interested in that. Thanks.
We met the documentary filmmaker on the first day, and then I think the first week was he showing us around, a bit giving us different people to choose. And then in the end we could choose the most interesting one, which was a bit weird, like a real person casting. But then after we had found Picos, by coincidence he presented us to Peter Punk because he just talked about him. And then the question was this 2 weeks of research. And then we found Picos so interesting that we thought we're going to make a film about Picos himself. But then we thought we don't want to do a bit like a poverty movie. We want to do something empowering. And then we found out that he's doing this big project since 35 years, collecting toys and donations for children on the street. And then we thought it's nice to break it up also for 2 characters like this. Peter Punk was also giving a different angle, and also having this red line of Picos showing somebody his project a bit. And then the date of the 6th of January, where they're doing the donation thing, 2 friends of us were filming it because we were not there anymore. So it was 2 weeks of shooting, and then they filmed the last bit for us.
Maybe we can talk a little bit more about the exchange aspect of the exchange, because it's not only you and Louis going there and making a film by yourself, which you could, but you had a lot of support. There's this film school, Escena, in Mexico Stadt, and then you have also other team people shooting with you, right? Could you talk a little bit about how that worked out and how you got to know the other team members and so on?
So we had 2 consultancies with professors, documentary film professors of ESCINA, the documentary films, the film school, one of the 2 film schools. Are there just 2, no? And then, in the second week, we also met Pamela and Marion, who are now there, doing the exchange here. And they did the sound, we were Louis and me, and then one of them mostly, because they also had seminaries and stuff to do in the uni, so it was always 3 of us. Yeah.
Yeah. Are there any further questions? Because if not, we would like to continue with the film program. We are going to see the Mexican film shot here in Munich a year ago. So this is a little special because the filmmakers now are not here. They've been here with us exactly a year ago. They've been watching the film the other 2 Mexican students did a year ago. So now we have the same situation. Arturo and Alfredo, they made the movie we are going to watch now, but they are not with us. But Marion and Pamela, you are with us. And I don't know, you're not, or maybe you can come up laterwards for the Q&A, or we decide spontaneously. But so just so you know what we will see now. So, der Film heißt Ecos de la Memoria von Alfredo Ruocco und Arturo de Ito. Very special situation. So I'm alone here in front of you. Leider heute nicht. Maybe Karin, you want to join me up here. So, have you seen the movie for the first time, or? No, you already knew it. And did you have the chance to talk to Alfredo and Arturo? Okay. So I will hand on the microphone. And all I know is that when the two arrived one year ago, they had a different plan. Actually, they wanted to do something on agriculture, and now they ended up doing this movie. And maybe, I don't know if you were involved in the process and how this idea came up. So I'll let you talk.
We weren't involved in the process, but we were nervous for the exchange, so we asked them about how it went for them when they came. I think the story of why they got interested in this cinema is that they had another idea. They were trying to film that idea, but they really fast realized that they couldn't do it, so they started to search for another idea, and like the days pass by, and they started to feel really anxious about what they were going to film. I think Arturo was the one that told me that Alfredo was very relaxed and was telling Arturo like, don't worry, everything is gonna be okay, we will find an idea. And Arturo was like, we only have 2 weeks left. I don't know what you think we are going to do, but I don't think we have any more time. So they decided to go on separate ways to look for places or characters that they think in that moment that they find interesting. And Arturo, I think he was the one who found this place. And I think that, well, from what I understand of the story that he was telling me, is that first he got very interested of how vintage the place was. In Mexico City, it's not that there are no historical places that people take care of, but I think that the word progress is what most political what is the most important for the people in the politics. So they in Mexico, we don't have any kind of these places that like take care of the cinema culture, como la cultura cinematográfica. So and yeah, the history of cinema in Mexico, I think that it's very interesting, but I think that it has like a lot of ¿cómo se dice? Así como residuos de lo de Hollywood y así, como
Wurzeln.
Not Hollywood.
So people doesn't really care a lot of how history of cinema in Mexico is, but they care more about what it's being seen in Hollywood. So Arturo told me that he was very interested in this place, and also he's a film student. So after all, he found it very like it has a lot of magic for him. So he was the one who told Alfredo, and they both went to the place, and they realized that, yeah, like in Mexico, we don't have those kind of cinemas. I think that my mother had took me from for a very old cinema that it's near where she lives, but it's been restaurado. It's been restored, so it doesn't have any of the old architectural monuments like how it used to be, and they are not screening any more Mexican movies. They are moving more on what Hollywood is screening. So yes, I think that it's a very different cultural way of seeing cinema, and they found it very magical on how this place still like como guarda, como saves that unique way of sharing or screening cinema.
But I think it was also for because it's a cinema for old people. And Arturo was like, oh my God, this doesn't exist in Mexico in the type that we constantly, all types of different ages go to the cinema. So it was shocking, like vintage and old people, and it's a good combination. But I think that it's important for you as a most German audience to tell us what you think of this documentary. I think Alfredo and Arturo would like to know, yes, your opinion.
So, invitation.
Yes.
Yes.
What's your opinion on the movie? Eure Eindrücke.
It can be bad, it's okay. That's part of a film.
Is it true? Are there only old people going to the cinemas nowadays in Germany? No.
No, it's not true, but nobody does want to speak, because I like the film very much. It has a lot of course, coming after the first film is a completely different speed, let's say, and punk, and so it's like quite calm and slow. Huh? Oh, you have? Okay. But let me just finish and then I pass that to you. But I liked it very much because they watch it concentrated in a way. And after a while I was a bit, I felt that they feel like zärtlich. How is the word for tender? It's a tender view on it. Also on that, it's a tender view. I like that. So I pass my mic.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Just a question. Did the participants, the people that are filmed, each one of them gave the consent to be filmed?
There was a little sign, and you could even see in the movie. There was a sign telling the people, the audience, here's a film shooting going on, and just in case you have any questions about it, please come and talk to the crew. So the people who were filmed knew about the filming. Yes.
I will also like to say that we watch it in Mexico in a screening that they did for the school. And I remember that a lot of the comments that I heard after the screening for us as Mexicans was that it felt like como suspiro, like a calm moment, because in Mexico City especially it's very difficult to go to a place and found it like peaceful and quiet and like it's like I remember everyone was very amazed by how quiet and like and I don't know, like delicate it's, and in even the process when they are of the men that it's ¿qué está haciendo? That doing everything to exactly, yeah. So ¿cómo se dice? I think that I don't know how you as a German audience view it, because now that we've been in Munich, we realize that it's very quiet everywhere. We are whenever I play music in the morning, I'm always like, nobody else is playing music. Like there's no music at all. So I'm like, what? And I think that's something that we as a Mexican audience like really value it about this short film. That how the quiet and how simple things can be, or that it doesn't have to be like this big set or this big everything to be interesting for some people. So I think that is very interesting for me now that I'm here.
But
you must show them some music clubs.
Coming back to your question, just I'm thinking about like, why did you ask that question? Is it maybe because they just look as if there was no, I mean, they managed to create an atmosphere so that people didn't feel observed. Is it like what you wanted to ask about?
I could not imagine that these people would give the consent.
Oh.
It's not being bad, but it is, you're out there, you want to enjoy, you don't want to be a spectacle. You just want to be yourself. I don't know, it was a curiosity.
Okay.
If I was going to the cinema, it's not just reading a sign. I would like to know if I agree. So I guess if they agreed if they went inside.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and there are many ways, like saying people who are not agreeing to ask them to maybe sit on the left side or wherever. So yeah, and you can frame it the way. So yeah, but interesting. Okay. Okay, maybe a little commercial break, because like Alfredo Arturo also had partly a German crew, Sophie and Chang, but both of them went back to Mexico because they liked it so much that they now spent a whole year abroad, studying at your film school and realizing more films in Mexico. So, so just you know that this is really something very intense and touching for both sides, and there are friendships coming up, and so I just wanted to mention because it's a little side effect, but very nice one. Otherwise, the two of them would have been here today. Okay, if there are no more questions, there is someone. Mm-hmm.
So not only old people, I guess they were filming during a weekday. And so very often you also saw the lower prices. And as I understand it, that makes it easier for seniors who have Rente. How do you retirement? Yeah, basically it's a better price for them, and also they are not working. So usually that's what goes on during the day, because I saw that it was also daylight. So, but I think you could maybe see some laughter. I also thought it was tender. It's very, very interesting to see. I grew up in Munich. So it's very interesting to see somebody from another city come here and show me something that I'm very familiar with. Not only the cinema, but also the people. And it's maybe here at some laughter. It wasn't mean-spirited, but for example, I was selling tickets at an exhibition, and I've had these conversations 300 times. So maybe other people have had that as well. So it's almost like a recognition from somebody, as you said, this kind of cultural little cinema where they also show film is maybe, I thought I was like, oh, somebody's very fascinated by how they show the film. So because all of these, the actual film, the actual material thing. So it was very interesting for me to see kind of this perspective from somebody else. And also other part of my family's in Greece, and it's very loud as there as well. So yeah, it's a thing that's a bit more quiet here. But yeah, but I think just like because you were asking for like feedback, and I heard some laughter, but don't think it's mean-spirited. It's because we see something that we recognize from somebody that's new to them. Yeah. Also, I like the cinema. I don't know how long you're here, but it's also a very nice cinema, so it's a bit bigger one. But I'm not working there, okay? I just like it, and they have good nachos, or at least they used to have. So okay, I'm done.
I was just thinking of asking Arturo where the cinema is. We're here.
Just to finish, I will also like to say that it's very interesting what you're saying, because maybe it's destiny, but the fact that they film it and most of the people that it's in the film is old people, I think that it adds something of value to the film. I'm not sure what, but we also, when it was screening in Mexico, everyone laughed at the conversation because it's very funny, and I think it's something that we all can relate with, people of some age, that you sometimes have to like be repeating things. I think that it's not like, it doesn't matter if it's to old people or only go old people, but in this film, and particularly on what they are filming, I think that old people really adds a lot of value to the film. So that's all.
Thank you. So we will continue with the third and already last movie. This one is the one who was shot in Montreal, Canada. So we stay with the M, Munich, Mexico, Montreal, but we go to a complete different continent. Actually, the exchange is basically the same, but with another country. So saying you go there, you have 4 weeks, you spend 4 weeks there, and within those 4 weeks you have to do the research, you have to do the shooting, and then you come back and you have the post-production here in Munich, or for the other students coming from Canada here, they will do the post-production in Canada. So and now we are very curious to see what you discovered during your stay in Montreal. Anna und Luis. Diesmal ist Luis da. Es ist aber ein anderer Luis. Don't get confused. There is a Luis, but it's another Luis. So this is one of our conditions. If you like to apply for this exchange program, you have to be named Luis to do the camera. No. Sorry.
It was very easy.
Check. Yeah. How was it for you to come to Montreal? And this is quite a special topic, rivers that disappeared. And how come you came up with this?
So it was the same for us as with the exchange in Mexico, that you have 4 weeks to make a film, basically. And we applied with an idea that form-wise was similar. So we were interested to look at how a place changed through looking at the archive that exists in this place. And because Montreal has a really extensive archive, we applied with this idea. And when we were there, we went to the archives and spent a lot of time there. And we learned about that Montreal is a city that's very vulnerable to floods, so that there's a lot of flooding. And with time and with research, we understood that there's this connection. And we started looking for these old maps, and also started finding people who are also looking for these rivers and who are interested in it for different reasons. And so it also was step by step, like we found new pieces to the film.
Now there could have been a different approach, like talking heads, town hall talks, whatever, but you chose to do a very poetic film. So how did you come up with this idea?
No, I mean, it wasn't my idea, but like maybe it's taste, like what kind of movies we like, how we like to tell stories, maybe also not too human-centered, like more usually nature-centered or urban-centered, and that's more the approach. And then, we thought the question is interesting, how do you visualize something you don't see? A lot of people asked how you're gonna do it, and we didn't know at the beginning, so that was kind of like a starting point we liked. So that was maybe how the process started, I think.
I think so. Actually, we filmed a lot more with the people that you see in the film, and I thought it was interesting in the editing that also that more and more disappeared because actually people were not so interested in the people talking about it, and yeah, I think we really tried to through the camera movement, through the sound, to make you think about the river rather than that you learn about it, because I think also that a short film maybe is not the medium that can do that best. So yeah, that's how we decided.
Maybe one thing which comes to my mind is so when we stumbled upon this topic, we started looking for the river everywhere in the city. So we thought, yeah, maybe that's also the approach how the film works. It's looking for something, and like the theme of searching became like I don't know, the language for the movie, I guess.
Did it work for you? Okay. Yeah, I would like to open it up. Are there any other questions?
Hey, and how did you come across this video of the flooding? Like through people that happened to have footage, or was it from the days that you were there, or from the past, or?
The material is not. It didn't happen while we were there. Actually, you can find a lot of it on the internet, and I just contacted a YouTube channel that posts a lot of it. Yeah, and it's actually from a collection of floods. Like these range from I think 2006 to last year.
Hi, I have 2 questions maybe, or one question and one more like a notice. So first question is, we see the map that's been drawn by French, I guess, people who came to Canada, nowadays Canada. But I guess the river was important also to indigenous people, and like, did you find out anything about that, and like this relationship, how the river disappeared and the indigenous people also kind of disappeared?
Yeah, definitely. So as you said, the map is drawn by, it's actually drawn like later, and it portrays like how they imagined it to be there like 200 years before. And the river was very important for First Nations and all kinds of tribes actually, because it was a means of transportation, but also, as you say, like for hunting, especially this lake that they talk about. When you see the intersection, that was a place that was full of animals, and it was very important for their nutrition. But I guess it went hand in hand, so it wasn't. I think that with the process of colonization, it was not that the river disappeared, that indigenous people disappeared, but yeah, I think all of these processes are intersected, which is why it was important to me that there's also a little bit about it in the film, because you have it on the maps as well.
Yeah, thank you. And another thing that I found beautiful, or I don't know, maybe it's more of my personal view on it, or maybe it was in the movie also, is how you look, as you say, for the lost river. And then I wonder, like, did you start seeing maybe how difficult it is to say that, yeah, this is city and this is nature, and at least in your movie I see how they become intertwined, and the birds sort of like play a character of the nature that comes back into the city or whatever.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's actually very interesting when you look at this place where they go into, like the 2 women go into this forest. It used to be a hippodrome, which is like racetracks for horses, and it's also where one of the sources of the river is. And after it was shut down and it's not being used, actually nature really started coming back, and now it's like the one place in Montreal where you can find lots of birds, and also in winter when the snow melts you can find the river. And what was also interesting, in places where the river was just buried, people would still see like the birds looking for the river. So I think, yeah, as you say, it is intertwined in a way. And I forgot to mention something in the beginning. Actually, the piece of music that's made in the end is by Hans Königke, who's also here today. And he made it in like a really, really short time. And it's perfect. And I just wanted to say thank you again.
Thank you. Maybe you want to join us up here in front? Was it? Yeah.
If you want.
No, but it is important to, to get rewarded.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I thought I'd hide. I don't have much to say. But, I was hiding in the audience and enjoyed watching it together. And it was a fun time doing it together because Anna always kind of turns every note, and we really kind of placed everything quite focused and enjoyed doing it. So thank you for kind of asking me.
Thank you for the beautiful music. Are there any more questions? Okay. I mean, questions on the film or maybe also on the exchange program? No. So, I don't know if Jan from the DOK.fest came back and joined. No, he's not there anymore. But okay, anyways, I also wanted to thank him a lot for giving us this space for screening those films, and it's also very important for us to have this kind of stage for the films. So, Jan, thank you. And thank you for coming and joining.